And this morning we have in our studio Dean Tom Reichert. How are you going?
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning, Rick. Pleased to be with you.
I'm glad we finally got together. We started to try to do this last July, and we're finally getting it done. And of course, it's a day we have to make you walk across the street in the rain to do that.
Across the street. And it's not raining too bad.
No, it's not too bad. So what's going on over there? You actually are the dean of two schools, right?
That's right. That's right. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much, Rick. Big fan and appreciate the opportunity to be on your show. Appreciate all that you do for college media and college radio. I think it's fantastic. Just real quick, if you'll indulge me, I remember the first time I started listening to college radio. I was in college, of course, but I think I was a junior, and I was dating a gal at the time, and she played some REM, which was alternative
back in the day.
Early, that was mid-'80s.
Yeah, college radio.
What is this? Who is this?
Yeah, college radio broke them out.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, always been a big fan. So appreciate you sticking with it and
thank you, sir.
Keeping it going.
Yeah.
So just a quick note. So we're a little over 20 years old in our current configuration. We are the College of Information and Communication. We have two schools and a new unit, but one of the original school was Journalism and Mass Communication, founded over 100 years ago. We celebrated the centennial in 2023. But our other school is Information Science, but it was founded as a library information science program, and it's a little over 50 years old. So we had a big celebration. It was 100, 50, and 20 for the college.
All at once.
Yes. Yeah. And we just founded a new unit. It's called Information and Communication Studies, which focuses on things that don't fit squarely in either school. But there's a lot of exciting things right at the fringe, and so we did that to kind of help us have more marketable offerings.
Now, give you an idea of how far back the relationship between WUSC and the college goes. Back in 1946, a fellow by the name of Mackie Quave, he was a student in journalism. Yeah, and it was print journalism, because I don't even think they had broadcast journalism there.
I don't think so.
I think the FCC was starting to push the idea of broadcast journalism as a course.
Sure.
And that's how WSC got founded. They created this thing called carrier current AM stations. So that's how Mackie Quave was one of the students that was in that program. In 1946, the club founded the fall semester. In the spring semester, they went on the air for the first time, WSC AM. At 640 on the dial, and then they switched to 730, and then to the FM dial in the 70s. But
always been close relationships between journalism and communication programs and college media. So I love that.
Yeah,
so. It's a great opportunity for our students to take what they learn in the classroom and actually practice it and see what it's really like. So it's a great opportunity for them.
Oh man, that is so true. Speaking of that, I gave you a piece of paper when you came in with pictures of three people who came through the school.
Yes.
Two are still actively involved in journalism. The third one has gone into communications as flack for a law firm.
Right.
So,
well, our alums do really well, especially on the journalism side. All of them do well, but I'll say that students who go through the journalism program, especially the broadcast side, I say it's 100% placement for students who want to do that. Now, everybody says journalism jobs are going away. Certainly, there's a bit of a retraction in the industry, but there's always room for good talent, and I think we do a really good job producing some of the best talent out there.
Well, we've done it throughout the years. What's her face with Fox News now, and
Ainsley Earhart's doing great. You've got Josh Dawsey, who just won his second Pulitzer Prize. I think we've got about 5 Pulitzer winners through the ages, so really, really proud. They've done a good job.
Yeah, back in the late 70s, you had a gal by the name of Karen McGinnis going through the school. She was working with me part-time at WIS Radio. She has I don't know if she still goes on the air, but for almost 50 years, she was an anchor, a weather anchor at CNN.
How about that?
Yeah, so we even have representation over there.
That. That's great. WIS had a radio station?
Yes.
Still, as part of the...
It's now the same station as WVOC, 560 on the dial, but it was the WIS radio in the until about the latter part of the early 80s is when they finally sold the station off.
Well, what's interesting, Rick, is, I think we had a radio concentration. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, it was print, and then radio came along, and then it was broadcast and television. But I'm sure that we had a very robust radio program that eventually went away. Mm-hmm. But there's renewed interest in that, and it's talk radio.
Yeah.
And we know somebody who said, hey, listen, it's the best training for broadcast journalism is to do talk, because sometimes those teleprompters go down. Sometimes you got to improvise. And if you've been doing it, you know how to do it, and it's really powerful. So we're looking to offer our first news or sports talk radio class beginning in the fall. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
So you kind of see a resurgence, especially with podcasting and everything else that's going on.
Well, there's a big sports station right across the street.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So what about your background? You came to us from Georgia, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. So was very fortunate to be accepted into the journalism program at the University of Missouri. Mm-hmm. I'll say I didn't go there to study journalism, but one of my fraternity brothers said, "Hey, you really got to check out the J School," because business didn't make a lot of sense for me, but I had a creative bent, and they said, "Go check it out." Now, I took news classes, and one of my most influential classes was Intro to News Writing, and that was a tough class. That was a readout class, but I ended up doing really well. I fell in love, but most of my coursework was over on the advertising side. So I worked in advertising for about 3 years in California, decided to go back and get a master's, retool and retrain, and fell in love with teaching and research. So I became an academic. I never would have guessed. As a journalism major, you never write anything over 5 pages long. And here I am in grad school doing multilinear regression. I never would have done anything that had to do with numbers either as an undergrad, and really, really liking it and excelling in it. And so then you go where the academic jobs are. So I was in the journalism department at the University of North Texas. Was my first academic job. Was there for 5 years. Very pleased to go to the University of Alabama for 3 years in their college of I think they're the opposite of us. So we're information communication, they're communication information science. And then was fortunate to be at Georgia for 13 years in their Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication. And I always say I left to come to the best SEC school in South Carolina. And I can't believe it, but it's been 8 years. Seems like I just got here, doesn't it?
You're right, because I think I first met you 6, 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah, at the meeting.
It was before the pandemic.
Yes.
Way before the pandemic.
Was.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Yeah. But again, really, I think we're a program. There are great communication and journalism programs out there, but it's the combination of that information science, data analytics, being comfortable with data, which is very important for media professionals today to be able – they don't have to be running high-level statistics. They need to be comfortable with analytics. They need to be able to look at numbers and discern patterns. It's very important for data journalism. It's very important for it's a life skill personally. But we are one of only 8 programs that's structured the way we are with both information science and communication under the same roof.
I'm thinking about fellows who we came through the school, and again in the 70s, Jim Ramsey came through here.
Sure.
And Jim Barrell, who went on to WBT, he just passed away, and Jim passed away a few years ago too. But Jim wound up being the weather guy at WGN in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
So we're talking about big time. Activities.
There's an excellent track record of really just outstanding professionals that have come through the program, and I think I've got to give a lot of credit to some things that were in place before I arrived, obviously, but the instruction is strong. Laura Smith just won the Bliss Award, which is a national broadcast journalism award, and so very proud of her. So any student that has her class has a heads up on the competition.
Speaking of classes, I know that in our conversation that you like teaching.
Yes.
Are you teaching any courses this semester, or have you taught this semester?
I am teaching the Intro to Advertising and Brand Communication course on at 11:40 on Tuesdays and Thursdays over in the Williams-Brice lecture hall with about
really all the way out there.
No. They have one over in the nursing building.
Oh, okay.
It's their lecture hall, and I have 308 students in that class. But I got to tell you, I did teach online. We all had to go online during COVID. Yeah. And I had never taught online before, and everybody said you can't do it. And we all did it, and we all learned
and it worked.
A lot. It did. Mm-hmm. So I really enjoyed that, but I didn't have the personal connection I did with students. So when I taught the big intro class last fall for the first time. Of course, I'm an optimist and kind of underestimated the amount of time it would take me to up that course. It had been 15 years since I taught that course, and the world of advertising has changed. You got social media, you got mobile, you've got influencers, you've got everything. It's just turned on its head.
So you are now the influencer for the
I am not. No. We've got some great people that are doing good work.
Yeah.
So it's good. And we just wrapped up, had our last class on Thursday, and really, really connect. It's one of the most fulfilling parts of my job. We spend a lot of time thinking about how we can improve the student experience, make them more marketable, give them what they need, and support them. And then it's good to see that in action.
I imagine with 300 students, you got one or two TAs in there as well, right?
Well, yes. Yeah. I'm not going to give away my secret sauce, my KFC secret formula ingredient, but it's actually a little bit easier. There's, the platform we use is Blackboard, and you can do your exams now online. And used to be it was Scantron test. You had to have 4 versions of them, and you had to have TAs walking around making sure nobody was, kind of.
For those who don't know, TAs are teachers' assistants.
Teachers' assistants, right. So I have a really good one. I only have her 10 hours a week, and I don't know that she does a full 10 hours because.
So you grade your own tests? Or are they automatically graded?
Well, they're automatically graded. I do put the test together, and we do. You always say in a lecture class, big lecture class, it's just, they don't get the same interaction they do in a skills class, and there's a lot to be said for that. But we do something every week that's an in-class activity. I'll say, all right, turn around. I need you in groups of 3. We just talked about this. Now it's your turn. Try it. And the 3 of them work to do whatever it is, and they get credit for doing it. We don't grade it too strenuously, but if they're there and they're practicing, they've learned something.
I do want to mention what I think is one of the nicest broadcast facilities in town. This is the one over there in your school.
Yes, it is. Very fortunate. And we have 2 studios, right? We've got the Kennedy Greenhouse studio, thanks to Lou Kennedy, that's right next door. And so, if one goes down, we can improvise pretty quick. But very blessed to have a studio and have it in the building. So your students actually get a chance to work with state-of-the-art equipment, and I do mean state-of-the-art. Absolutely. Yes, I won't tell you how much we invest in that quite every year, but what I'll say on the broadcast side, and they've switched up more the multimedia journalism side, but the broadcast side, it's basically like a co-op program, a full-time job. So they're there from 8 in the morning till 6 at night, and that's the only classes they take. They're producing. They are on the air, they're out in the field reporting, and they do that over and over again for 1 to 2 newscasts a day the whole semester. I mean, that's their job. They come out knowing exactly what they want to do, and they come out knowing how to do it. And, again, 100% placement coming out of that program. If you want to do broadcast journalism and news, you got a job.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So...
a couple of things, I'll say that the momentum is incredibly strong right now. We have the most students we've ever had in the college, about 2,200 students. We have more faculty than we've ever had. We just hired 14 new faculty members last year, which is almost unheard of. Yeah. But these are people that are coming in right from the industry. They're coming in right from school, advanced, education, and so they're bringing the latest and the greatest, and doing a really good job and connecting well with the students.
So, put on your wizard's hat and your crystal ball here. What do you see as the future of journalism?
Well, I don't think it's going to go away. I think pendulum swings. And I think that journalism's been under heat for a while. But the industry, the Knight Commission and some other industry groups are looking very seriously at journalism. They understand the challenges that they're facing, and they're trying to correct. I think the world has been influenced by social media, so I think we're going to see a lot more video content supplemented by long-term content.
Do you still teach the 5 Whys? 5 W's?
Absolutely.
Who, what,
yeah. When, where, and why. Absolutely. I think that's timeless. So we, what I say is to attract students to journalism, first of all, the ones who want to do journalism know it. That's great. But you lead with your dessert. So leading with your dessert means leading with your passion. And so there are a lot of students who are very interested in sports. So we're like, hey, you can get a degree in sports media now. But we're going to make sure that you get your meat and potatoes. You're going to learn the fundamentals of good journalism, good communication, good information science.
So, excuse me there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No problem. It's that season.
It is that season, Todd. And it's that kind of weather today.
Sure. I'll say that one of the things that is facing the field, every field, is artificial intelligence. We jumped on it early in 2023. We had a few guest speakers, and Jeff Charney, who's one of our alums, who was the Chief Marketing Officer for Progressive Insurance. He's responsible for Flow. Dr. Rick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now we know who.
Yeah, your cousin there, Dr. Rick. And he did the Baker Mayfield commercials. All that was under him, and he's a great representative for the program. But he said, you got to get on it. Everybody's at level 0 right now trying to figure out this AI.
Yeah, that Henry VIII commercial for.
Yeah. Great stuff. Isn't it? So we jumped on it early. I mean, I don't think you can critique it. I don't think you can teach it if you don't understand the basics. And so 65% of our faculty and staff are AI certified. No other program in the country is at that level.
I understand the new Coca-Cola Christmas commercial is completely AI.
Yeah. And it's got some purists that are, sounding the alarm. But I'm telling you, that's the way it's going.
Well, we were talking about, I graduated in 92, and I was under the 1974 catalog. So nowadays you can't do this. But back then there was no expiration of the catalog, so they had to provide me courses, and I ran out of courses. The last 2 courses I needed to take, they weren't being offered anywhere, so my advisor said, take a couple of graduate-level seminars, and I took those in AI in 92.
Yes.
And it's amazing to see how much that's changed since those days.
Well, it's been around for, over 50 years in one various form or another.
There was a fellow here by the name of John Purvis, who was the chief meteorologist out at the Weather Bureau for probably 30, 40 years. And then I worked with him at another state agency a few years ago, and I built my expert system AI project for my senior thesis using him. And it sat over there in the School of Engineering and cranked out forecasts for a few years after I graduated.
Well, you got that engineering background, which really makes it easy. I think, things are changing. You can go to ChatGPT and tell it to, develop some coding format for you, and it'll do it.
It's amazing. As I age further and further away from actively working in data processing, engineering, and computing, my coding ability has started drifting off into old age. And I had a problem I couldn't quite figure out, and I asked ChatGPT to build me a Perl script, and it did it perfectly the first time. Amazing. And gave me exactly the words. I was kind of like, really?
Yes.
Now I'm worried.
Yeah. So I'm in a book club it was a bunch of professors over in Georgia, and they're all retired now, but I'm still sticking with them. And we read this book about a man who was just wanted some adventure, and it was in the 1840s. They were trying to lay telegraph wire across the Atlantic, and it just kept failing. It kept breaking, and so they're like, well, the company at the time said, let's go west. Let's string wire all the way across Siberia and have it go into. So it talks a lot about what was going on. what was really interesting is when the telegraph was first invented, everybody thought it was just a great curiosity. You could sit there and play. You could be in Baltimore and you could be in D.C. and you could just play chess. Ha, ha, ha. Once business figured out that they could make money and save money with the telegraph, it exploded. Yeah. I think we're going to see the same thing with AI. It's going to increase productivity, and it will save costs. I think we've done a lot of study on this. I mean, I think that students need to know about AI, know how it works and what it does best, but they also have to be really good and better at thinking, asking good questions. Hey, look, it's the same thing that we've been teaching for over 100 years, good critical thinking.
Yeah, I think the human beings are going to get more and more in a supervisory role over AI than a worker role as we have been doing it.
100%. Yeah. So that's my question. Are they going to need to learn all the Adobe products and the Creative Suite? I don't know that that's going away anytime soon. But I think it'll change.
Well, the other big change in my lifetime is audio editing. We used to do it with grease pencils and razor blades and cut the tape and maybe your tip of your finger and put it together. But using products like Audition or Adobe, those just make it so much easier than it used to be.
It takes all that onerous work and just simplifies it so that you're the one making the decisions on what looks good, what doesn't. So you're more in an evaluation role as opposed to having to spend all your time doing the grunt work, right? I remember that. I remember when I was in college, we were using, I think it was 8mm film. In one of this intro to film classes, you had to splice the tape and use, golly. That's not the same anymore.
Or editing videotape. I used to have to do that. Oh, man, what a pain. You have to hit the edit button a half second before you want the edit to occur. And you had to pre-roll the videotapes 10 seconds ahead of time. Oh, man, it was just...
not good.
And today, they have it queued up 200 milliseconds before the first video.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So one of the things that, we're focused on is obviously making sure students are working with the tools and technology of the profession. So when they get out, they know how to use them immediately. So all of our students have free Adobe Creative Suite access from day one, and we're encouraging them to use that all the way through. And if they know that, they're definitely going to be marketable. AI, every single student is earning an AI certificate in their first class.
Oh, wow.
Because they're using it for studying or whatever, but they don't know its history. They don't know different types of AI, and so that helps with the literacy.
What about from the instructor point of view? Do you have tools to detect when somebody's using AI, or do you have to use
Rick, that's a good question. So not really. There are plagiarism detectors, AI detectors, but all the research is showing that they just don't work very well. There is a tool that the university is encouraging everyone to use. We do have to pay for it, and I think some individual faculty it's called Grammarly.
I know it.
Yeah, and what Grammarly does is it produces a report that you turn in at the end with your paper that shows how much you used AI, when did you use AI, and so it's a little bit more transparent, and I like that.
Well, especially with a journalism major, you don't want AI creating the copy.
No,
you want the person, the student, to do that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's not good. And you're cheating yourselves. My son is at Midlands Tech, and he uses that Notebook LM, which is a Google product, to produce that podcast. It'll do a podcast for you that sounds amazing. It sounds like a real podcast. Hopefully that's not going to put you out of business. Right? But it takes all this content, and then you have some dialogue between two people that are talking, and you can listen to it on your way to work. You can listen to it on your headphones when you're working out. And so it's a great study. He uses it as a study tool. It makes flashcards for him. But he does say he sees a lot of his fellow students are just using AI to turn in their work last minute. And they're only cheating themselves.
Exactly.
I know.
Yeah, it's hard. You got to do it the hard way.
Yeah. The other thing I'll mention, too, is I never did study abroad when I was a student. We couldn't afford it. I don't think as many people were doing study abroad back in our days. How about that? So I had a chance to start a study abroad program at my previous university, and I was able to see the transformational impact it had on students. They learned more in the 3 weeks that they were overseas than sometimes they learned in a semester. Yeah. And there's recent research that the University System of Georgia just came out with that looked at data from 300,000 students, and they find that students who study abroad, their GPAs increase, their time to graduation decreases. It's called academic focusing because it's just different from taking a class on campus where you just show up. You're actually in a different environment. You're learning about cross-cultural.
We have two students on our executive board here who are going to be abroad next semester. And I was telling them that it's just absolutely going to be transformative.
They come back different people.
Yeah, they do.
And I think for South Carolinians, it's especially important. We're in a global society, or we've got international companies headquartered here, working here. And I think employers are looking, the workforce of tomorrow needs to have a global focus. So we have created a study abroad program that has no program fee. We've tried to make it as easy as possible. So they take 6 hours, they take 2 classes, 2 great classes, which keeps them out of the classroom. But the one is in Barcelona and the other is in Madrid. And they spend a month in both of those locations. They get some excursions. So I always say it's kind of bare bones study abroad, but it gives them the opportunity.
Are the classes taught in Spanish over there?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So they're actually oriented toward American students coming in.
Well, yes. So these are our faculty that are teaching these classes too, which is great. Scott Farron's our lead for study abroad, and he's been able to rotate a lot of faculty. It's good for faculty to go and spend a month over. But we've gone from zero. We were going to start this program before COVID, and we obviously had to stop. But we have gone from 0 students to 110 students in 3 years, split between those 2 programs. And he says we're going to have 150. My goal would be that every single student coming out of our program has had at least one study abroad experience. And some of them, can afford to do the bespoke programs that have a $4,000 or $5,000 program fee on top of the tuition, but most of them don't, and we want to provide an opportunity for them. So I say, what does a dean do? 90% of what I do is just thinking about how we can improve the student experience, make them more marketable. Of course, I have to do the budget and the personnel issues and all that, but the best part is just seeing these students go out and be super successful.
So if somebody's interested in all this and like to get in touch with you, do you have a email address they can reach out to?
Yes. It's real easy. It's my last name, Reichert @sc.edu. You can also find me on LinkedIn. I'm not on Instagram and Facebook as much as I should, but you can find me at those 2 locations.
Yeah, I did steal your picture off of Facebook for a promo.
Oh, did you? Okay, good. Great.
Tom, thank you so much for coming over this morning in the rain and visiting with us and letting us know what's going on in the College of Journalism and Mass Communication. Let me get that right. It's Communications and Mass.
It's the school is Journalism and Mass Communication.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Rick, thank you so much for having me. It's been a real pleasure. I'll come back anytime you want.
Amen. There'll be an invite.
Go Gamecocks.